I've been reading some rumors that there's not going to be a One Piece chapter this week because of some holiday in Japan. So regardless, I'm going to do this discussion video because they're fun. And the thing about One Piece is that you could literally spend hours talking about different subplots and topics with the people who are caught up. For Yonko. Ever since Kaido showed up, one of the biggest questions that's been going around in the fandom has been, who do you think is the strongest emperor? Now, talking about power scaling in One Piece is pretty freaking enjoyable, I will admit to that, but at the same time, I think I'm pretty aware of the fact that at the end of the day, the power scales, it just really depends on what Oda wants to do with them regarding the story. Like how far he wants Luffy to advance, how badly he wants Luffy to get his ass kicked, etc., etc. And there's different, power scaling within different groups. You have the Straw Hat power scaling, you have the Yonko power scaling, the Shichibukai power scaling, the Marine, Worst Generation power scaling. So it really does become a complex topic, especially in a world when you have people that can use Devil Fruit abilities in hockey. Like Luffy versus Enel, okay? The only reason Luffy was able to be as durable as he was during that fight is because he's made out of rubber, and rubber doesn't conduct electricity. That's why it's important to take into consideration the construction of the story when it comes to assessing power levels. Now, when it comes to the Yonko, let's start with what we can agree on, okay? For the most part, can we agree that Blackbeard, Teach, and Akainu are final villains? Can we agree on that? I mean, maybe Luffy confronts them at different times during the final arc, but can we agree that they're final story villains? Because if we can agree on that, that means that Marshal D. Teach is going to be in a serious position of power by the end of the story. So Blackbeard is kind of like the weird exception within the Yonko right now, because his status, his rank, it doesn't really matter where he ranks in right now. What really matters is where he's going to end up and how powerful he can become. And given that he has the power to destroy the world in one hand and the power to negate Devil Fruit abilities in the other, that's going to be some crazy shit. We haven't seen Blackbeard after the time skip, so we have very little information in regards to what his power looks like right now. But we do know that after Marineford, he was not capable of controlling Whitebeard's power. In fact, he actually hit the air casually, and that shit ended up creating a tsunami. So maybe in the past 2 years, he learned to control it better. He was handed the title of Yonko, and that's something that, people don't get named Yonko every day, so we have to give him credit for that. However, in Dressrosa, Jesus Burgess, one of his main subordinates, got manhandled by my bad Sabo. Sabo was punking Burgess so bad, he made it look easy. And this is after Sabo took on Fujitora. So what do you think that means in regards to BB's power right now? Now, here's the thing. Right now, and this is purely subjective, I'm going to explain my reasoning in a bit, but to me, the way that it goes is, from less powerful to, like, fucking powerful, to me, it goes Big Mom, BB, Kaido, and Shanks like this. I'll talk about the tie in a bit, but, and Blackbeard's obviously going to be the one climbing up the ladder. And the thing about Blackbeard is that he doesn't care, he doesn't have a moral code. He plays dirty. He can stab you in the back, shoot you, whatever. So I do think he's going to end up at the top by the end of the story. Now, Big Mom, the reason why I was so hard on Big Mom is because there are certain things, granted, these are very small details, that I've seen in the story that they left me disappointed. First thing, Sanji was somehow able to outrun her ship. Maybe Coupe de Burst, something like that. It's still kind of like, I mean, if you can get away from a Yonko just by using Coupe de Burst, it's kind of like, okay, whatever. Now, granted, I do agree with the fact that maybe Big Mom was not in the ship, but it's like, come on. Like, if you really want these dudes, go get them. Second thing is, Kid is going around, or he was going around until fucking Kaido fell on his ass, but Kid was going around fucking Big Mom ships. Nobody really did anything about that shit. It's like, Kid was doing this because he was bored. Big Mom, to me, it looks like right now, it just looks like she just cares about the candy. Fishman Island was supposedly under her protection. Luffy called her out, or him out, I don't know. If that would have been Kaido, just imagine, if Luffy would have called up Kaido and said the exact same thing that he said to Big Mom, Luffy would probably be dead right now. Despite everything I just said about Big Mom, I do think she's powerful as fuck. I think that she's more of the person that she stays in her own turf, so that if people come to her island, that's when they get fucked. Because I do think she has a very special Devil Fruit ability that even the rest of the Yonko are afraid of. And that's another point, that usually, for the most part, you don't really see Yonko picking fights with each other. Unless the scenario or the situation merits a fight between Yonko, it doesn't happen, because they're supposed to be entities that maintain balance. So Kaido may be immortal, but maybe Big Mom has the power to turn you into a sweet, or a candy, or a cookie. And it doesn't really matter. And it's kind of like what happened back in Dressrosa with Sugar. That power was broken as fuck. So she doesn't go out much. But if you're going to her house, you better bring some tasty treats. Now, between Kaido and Shanks, I'll be the first to say that I do not have enough information to pick either or. However, if this was a horse race and somebody put a gun to my head and they told me you need to pick between one of them, I would probably give it to Shanks. Only because, well, a couple things. In Kaido's introduction, the narrator did say that he was captured by Marines. I don't see Shanks being captured by Marines, given what happened at Marineford. Now, I do have some ideas about why Kaido got captured. Number one, he let it happen. Number two, it happened when he was growing up and he wasn't at his prime yet. Or number three, and this is kind of like my theory, is that I really do think that the Marines... See, in order to have a Shichibukai system and a Yonko system, it makes no sense for a government authority to say, yeah, pirates, we're going to give you power. That makes no sense if the government doesn't have something to show people who is boss at the end of the day. So I do think that the government has some type of fail-safe or ace in the hole, some type of, plan B strategy that if things start getting nasty with the pirates, because Imagine that one day the Yonko wake up and they're like, hey, you know what? Let's destroy the Marines. An alliance of all four emperors trying to take down HQ, Marijoa, all that stuff. I mean, that's World War III right there. I do think that the government allows these people to have these seats of power only because the government has a way of controlling this shit. It's kind of the way it works in real life, if you think about it, with countries and nuclear power. Countries, like really powerful countries going like, we got our eyes on you, and if you misbehave, we got a bunker full of nukes. Realistically speaking, it makes no sense for Luffy to go up against Kaido if Kaido doesn't have some type of weakness yet. Now, I don't think that Luffy can take him right now. That'd be just fucking suicide. But, I was thinking that maybe it could happen like in Thriller Bark when everybody ganged up against Oars. And it was a team effort, but Luffy was the one who delivered the final blow. Now, the reason why I would bet on Shanks, and this is just a hunch, it's not me, but I do think that he walked into the war and Sengoku was like, I respect you, Shanks. Let's stop this. Yes, but you have to look at, like, Akainu, if he could have taken Shanks, he would have been like, no, fuck you, Sengoku. Let's fight this red hair right here. No. Ben Beckham showed up with a pistol on Kizaru, all right, mid-distance. Kizaru was like, I'm fucked. And Kizaru can move at the speed of light. What does that tell you? Nobody wanted to take this guy on. And I will admit that obviously Teach is capable of hurting Shanks. That's proven because Shanks has a scar left by him. And that's another reason why I think Blackbeard is a little bit over Big Mom. That being said, okay, so it was said that before Marineford, Shanks was having a confrontation or some type of conflict there with Kaido. And Shanks made it to his appointment at Marineford, okay? The problem here is that we know that Shanks was traveling with his crew. And if Kaido was traveling solo, like we know he likes to do, then that wasn't really fair. The fact that Beckham can just be like, Kizaru, do not move a muscle, mother. But also, he was in Roger's crew. There's no way you spend time with the King of the Pirates and don't pick up a thing or two. Roger gave him the straw hat, and people like to argue about Whitebeard being killed because he wasn't at his prime. Well, you could make the argument that Shanks right now is not at his prime either because he's missing an arm. Wouldn't his prime be when he had both arms? There are some crazy theories going around in regards to Shanks' character. I think it was Alpha Cat who speculated that maybe Shanks' hockey can allow him to manipulate time. Honestly, I wouldn't put it past Oda. And if Kaido can't be killed, I would assume that there has to be... The way that you deal with people that can't be killed is that you bury them, or you immobilize them, or you seal them up forever. So maybe Law can come in there and, cut him up with his broom and separate him, cut him up into pieces and, bury different parts of Kaido in different parts of the world. I don't know. And speaking of Law, who do you think the next gen Yonko are going to be. I think Law and Kid for sure. Leave me your thoughts down below. What do you think? Please, again, please remember that at the end of the day, the power levels really do depend on what Oda wants to do with the story. Just remember that, please. Thank you for watching. Like the video if you did. I appreciate that. Subscribe to my channel for more One Piece discussions and reviews and stuff. And that's it for me. Thanks, guys. Bye.